Hey everyone, it's Friday. It's snowing. I have Empire Strikes Back on in the background. Hopefully that's not too distracting. I'm not in school today, so I figured I decided I'd make this video for my next review. Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime by Mark Haddon, released in 2000 or published in 2003. But before I get into it, this is Under the Covers. I'm CJ, and I review books and talk about books that I've bought. So yeah, before I get into the review, I marked my progress throughout the book with my Metro ticket. Well, not my Metro ticket, a Metro ticket that I found on the train after someone got off. I took it because it's got that like perfect bookmark shape, and I don't have too many bookmarks. I usually use like miscellaneous items that I find. Anyways, like I said, The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime by Mark Haddon, published in 2003. And this book is about a character named Christopher John Boone. Christopher John. That name sounds familiar. Anyways, Christopher lives in Swindon, England, home of the beloved Swindon Town Swiddly Poopers, for all you nerd fighters out there. And Christopher has either high-functioning autism or Asperger's syndrome. It's not really cleared up in the novel. It's through the Christopher's perspective that this book is written, and it's actually his book that he wrote, solving the mystery of the Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime. He's trying to solve the murder of who murdered the dog, and the title of this book is based on a Sherlock Holmes story called Silver Blaze. And I had to look that up. I wasn't sure if it was that one or the Hounds of Baskerville or another story, so I had to look that up and clear that up. And that plays big into this novel because Christopher references Sherlock Holmes a lot and talks about how he's very similar to Sherlock Holmes in the respect that they both can make the observations on the slightest detail, and that can go a long way for them. And it kind of makes allusions that Sherlock Holmes has high-functioning autism or a form of Asperger's syndrome. And I'm not going to lie, I'm not an expert on autism or Asperger's syndrome or the autism spectrum, so I can't really go into too much detail about that. So I'm probably going to stick to focusing on the novel. And this book is a lot more than Christopher finding out who murdered this dog, The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime. It's his neighbor's dog, and that's the dog right there. It's a poodle. It involves a lot about his family, how they deal with him, with his autism or Asperger's, how they deal with each other, and I'm not going to give too much away of the story because it's really good, but I will say that there's a lot more to it than him solving this mystery, or else that would have been a really short book. So yeah, I'm going to get into the novel a little bit. Christopher, he's a math wizard. Like, he can come up with answers to math problems like that. And he's very observant. He makes maps of things in his head of places that are familiar. He maps them out entirely. And he's really smart in that regard, but he lacks a lot of the social skills that people with autism or Asperger's syndrome would have. And that's one of the complications in this novel. And it's really hard to get into because, like I said before, I don't know too much about Asperger's syndrome or autism, so I can't really comment on that. And neither did Mark Haddon. Mark Haddon does not have autism or Asperger's syndrome, but he did do a lot of work with people with these diseases or conditions, and he was able to be very observant of how they live to write this novel. And that's a lot of the criticism that he got for it was how could he write a novel through the first person perspective of someone with these conditions when he doesn't have these conditions himself. But from what I'm familiar with of these conditions, he does a good job of writing as Christopher through this perspective. And but like I said, I'm not an expert, and I don't want you to watch this and think I know a lot of what I'm talking about. I just have like a little bit of knowledge about it, and I think he does a good job of writing from that perspective. so he gives Christopher some, like, a lot of these different quirks. No, Quark is the guy from Star Trek. Quirks are personality traits. Like, Christopher can count in prime numbers up to 7,057. He doesn't like the color yellow. He doesn't like the color brown. And these are part of his personality traits that are effects of the autism or the Asperger syndrome. And he's a big fan of prime numbers, and he writes the novel in chapters of prime numbers, unlike a traditional novel which goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, whatever. He writes it in prime numbers, and I don't even, like, 2, 3, and then after that, 7. I think that's another prime number. So he writes the whole novel in chapters of prime numbers, and that's just another one of Christopher's, unique traits because of his condition. And like I said before, Christopher's he's a math wizard. And I'm going to read a little bit from the novel that shows a lot about who Christopher is and how smart he is, and like his reactions with people. And he said, "What is 251 times 864? And I thought about this and I said, 216,864, because it was a really easy sum, because you just multiply 864 times 1,000, which is 864,000. Then you divide it by 4, which is 216,000. And that's 250 times 864. Then you just add another 864 onto it to get 251 times 864. And that's 216,864. And I said, is that right? And Rodri says, I haven't got a bloody clue. And he laughed. I don't like it when Rodri laughs at me. Rodri laughs at me a lot. Father says it is being friendly. Then Father said, I'll stick one of those gobi aloo sag things in the oven for you, okay? This is because I like Indian food, because it has a strong taste. But gobi aloo sag is yellow, so I put red food coloring into it before I eat it. And I keep a little plastic bottle of this in my special food box. And I said, okay. So that's, it shows a lot of his intelligence, like how quickly he can come up with answers like that to the math problem. And it shows that he doesn't know how to react to Rodri, and it also shows like that he doesn't have the social skills that people without these conditions have. And it also shows that he doesn't like the color yellow, and he needs red food coloring to put in his food to make it red. Just because, like I said, that's another one of his quirks about him that are an effect from this autism or Asperger syndrome. And I just found, looking up information on this novel, I just found out that Steve Kloves, he wrote the screenplays for the Harry Potter movies, at least the last few. He bought the rights to make the screenplay to this, or someone gave him the rights to write the screenplay for this, and he's going to direct this into a movie. You know what I'm saying. Anyways, so that should be coming out in the future. It's probably not going to be as good as the book, because most films aren't as good as the book. I'll probably see it. But like I said before, I like this novel. I think he does a good job of writing from the perspective of someone with Asperger's or autism. But like I said before, I'm not an expert on the conditions. If I were to give this, I am going to give this a rating. I'm going to give it 4.5 out of 5 stars. I really enjoyed it. It's sad, it's funny, it's touching, it's heartbreaking, and it's a really interesting novel if you're not familiar with autism or Asperger's syndrome. So once again, Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime by Mark Haddon, 4.5 out of 5 stars. If you like this video, hit the like button. The dislike button's right next to it if you dislike this video. Sorry if there's a lot of background noise because of Empire Strikes Back, but I didn't want to turn it off. It's been on loop all day. If you want to leave comments, if you've read this book and you want to let me know what you think, I'm really interested to know what other people think. I like having conversations about books. So the comment section's below that. Leave a comment, let me know what you think. If you want to make recommendations for what I should read next or in the future, let me know what you want me to read. If it sounds interesting, I'll read it. If I've read it before, maybe I'll do a quick review on it. If you haven't subscribed to me and you want to, the subscribe button's up there. I don't know what I'm going to be reviewing next. I just want to say that right now. It's probably going to be a surprise. Once again, Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime, 4.5 out of 5 stars. Thanks for tuning in Under the Covers. I'm CJ, and I'll see you later.